Daniel, nice to meet you.
All right, first question for Daniel. All right, start with Tommy here.
Tommy, inside Carolina. Tommy Ashley, inside Carolina. How have you seen you guys sort of gel a little bit? Obviously, you've got some guys down and out, but 3 games in now, the comfort level of gelling with the guy beside you. How's that going?
I think that just comes over time, and as a unit, we just slowly learn how to play off each other and build that trust and accountability, and it kind of just comes with repetition and from practice to outside of practice, but it's just getting there for sure.
When you play against a team like TCU and in Charlotte and Richmond, can you feel it getting better, like when you're in the moment, combo blocking, whatever you have to do to have that chemistry? Can you sort of feel that building there, or is that building in practice more?
I would say it builds as in practice and in game as well, because we have a lot of new guys, and some of us have not played many snaps, and some have played a lot, and a lot of us are from different places, and I think just getting the repetition in any situation is really good for all of us.
Andrew?
How's Chad Lindbergh improved over the last few weeks? You guys had a lot of attrition at that position during August, and I don't think he's played a whole lot of center in the past. So how have you seen him kind of come along, being next to him these last 3 games?
One thing about Chad is he's a really hard worker, and he comes to work every day ready to go. And I think that just speaks volumes to Chad as a player. Coming in, he was looked at as a guard, maybe a tackle, and for him to step up and play center, I think that speaks a lot about him as a player.
How about communication with him, but also you guys up front? We talked to Freddie Kitchens back in August, and he said with this offensive line, the center makes all the calls. With this group, all of you guys are making the calls. It's sort of 10 eyes saying the same thing. How's that kind of going, and how's Chad been, how's he running that part of it as well?
So even in the beginning, Chad has always been very vocal. So it was pretty easy, to get along with Chad and understand what's going on. But I think it helps when everybody makes a call, because then all 5 are on the same page.
If I can ask one more quick follow-up to that, to his question about the chemistry, Tommy's question about the chemistry. People talk about chemistry with offensive line all the time. Does it truly begin with the communication before anything else? And is that an element that also has improved the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, no doubt. I think it starts with the communication, because if the right guard knows something and the left guard doesn't know what's going on, you're not going to have a pretty good play. So I think communication is what it's really all about. That's where it starts at, because it gets us all going in the right direction.
Brian?
Hey, Brian Murphy with WRL. When you have a running back run for 148 yards, obviously the offensive line plays a big part in that. Doesn't necessarily get the credit, but when you see a running back do that, what kind of pride do you take in that? And what is it about Juju that made it impossible for him to have that big of a game?
I think it always feels good as a unit to see players shine, especially as an O-lineman, because you think about all the long and hard days that it took to get that kind of moment, and we're just happy for anybody to go out there and rush for that.
What about him specifically? Coach Belichick described him as sort of a one-cut runner, puts his foot in the ground and goes. I know on the 50-yard run, Belichick said it was blocked for a couple yards, and he was able to break a couple tackles and go for 50.
Yeah, that was pretty exciting to watch. Juju's a really good back, and I think a lot of the fans appreciate him and the way he runs the ball, and I know as an O-lineman we definitely appreciate that.
Hey Daniel, Michael Coe, WCHL, ChapelRoad.com. This program has a lot of players who transferred from Group of 5 or FCS schools. Melkar came from Delaware, he came from Troy, Christo, Lindbergh, of course Gio from South Alabama. Do you feel like those types of players have a little bit more of an edge to them coming from a smaller school than trying to prove yourself on the power conference stage?
I don't know if I can really speak for everybody else, but I know for me, I definitely came in with an edge. I wanted to prove something in my career coming from a smaller school. I knew that I wanted to show the coaches that I could compete at this level and be a good player for this team.
The last Sun Belt offensive lineman who came here was Will Lampkin. He was pretty good. He was an All-American. Did he reach out to you when you committed? Have you heard from him at all?
I spoke to him when he was up here training for the draft, and I talked to him a little bit. Nothing too crazy other than a good greeting and how's everything going. But I think that he's a great player. He does a lot of good things, and it wouldn't be bad to see him around more. Help him, or he could help us. Get more technique or whatever.
Rod?
Hey Daniel, Rod Baxley, Fayetteville Observer. How have you seen Gio develop and grow since the TCU game, and what has his demeanor been like in the huddle and then in practice and games in that regard since that moment?
I think the way that I view it is just execution. So I think not even Gio, just everybody. I think that we've all gotten better at execution, and I think we've all like locked in and dialed in more to be better at our job, and to help Gio more as an O-line, tight ends, receivers getting open more, us blocking longer. So I think it was more of a group thing as aside from an individual thing.
Jeremiah?
Yeah, Jeremiah Holloway with Inside Carolina. I actually was going to ask you a little bit about Gio too, particularly when it comes to blocking for him. Charlotte, it seemed like he was able to kind of get on the move a little bit more. You guys move the pocket for him, things like that. What's it been like blocking for him? Being a more mobile type quarterback and kind of, I guess, utilizing the pockets of his strengths and things like that.
It's something I'm not used to. Where I came from, our quarterback wasn't very mobile. So for me as a player, it was something I had to get used to. But I think that that's a good strength that we have on our team, and I think whenever we get to use it, it's always a good thing.
I know obviously execution is the bottom line with blocking, but is there, I guess, what are some of the schematic differences when it comes to accounting for somebody's mobility, knowing that there's someone that can kind of improv and do things like that?
Yeah, I think the defense has to go about their game plan a little differently when you got a guy like Gio, because you got to respect his arm and his legs. So I think that kind of puts more of a strain on the defense.
Greg?
Hey, Daniel, Brent Sasher of Tar Heels Honest. Speaking of the communication and everything, you guys are going up to the UCF, playing at the Bounce House, which has been known as more of the rowdiest and loud stadiums around college football. How do you guys make sure the calls and checks up front don't get lost in that type of environment?
I think that we're going to practice some environments like that at practice, loud music, just to get used to that kind of environment. So we're going to go out there today and rep it today and be good at it.
And last one for Shelby.
Show me some from News Observer. I asked just your teammate Melkar about this beforehand, but obviously you guys had that moment with the game ball and with Mitch Mason after the game with the win over Richmond. I'm curious, just in your short time here, what he's meant to you, and if you have any kind of moments that you kind of describe that relationship and impact he's having.
Yeah, I think Mitch is an amazing human. And one thing that's really special about Mitch is he doesn't care who you are. He doesn't care if you're a travel guy, non-travel guy. He always is there for you if you need anything. And I think that really speaks for his character as a man. And it made me so happy seeing him get that game ball. It meant a lot to me and the players, and I just couldn't be more happy for Mitch.
Perfect. Good stuff.
Thanks
so much.
Appreciate it.
Question?